Hello, good day. A pleasant day to everyone. My name is Jeremiah for Eduk 211, Facilitating Learning. Now we are at our second lesson, which is metacognition. But before that, uh, let us discuss our learning objectives. Our learning objectives for this lesson is at the end of this lesson, you are expected to develop an understanding of metacognition, including on what or how it works. Another one is to identify and imply strategies that helps students use metacognitive skills and construct effective and creative ways to promote metacognitive awareness in the classroom. So, what is metacognition? So, how it is different to cognition. So, basically, metacognition is the knowledge and understanding of our own cognitive processes and abilities and those of others. So this includes as well as the regulations of these processes. But on the other hand, cognition is the mental process involved in gaining knowledge and comprehension, including thinking, knowing, remembering, judging, and problem solving. So what is metacognition? So metacognition is can be defined in a simplified manner, which is a heightened awareness of one's thoughts and processes. It is a term coined by the American psychologist John Flavel in 1979. So basically, in a layman's term, metacognition is directly associated as thinking about thinking and learning on how to learn or learning how to learn. So metacognitions, when it is properly applied to the learning process, the students will be having this metacognitive strategies, and they will understand themselves as learners, and they will have a particular idea of a given task, and also a variety of strategies and how to use will be given to them, and they will be oriented on how to use those strategies in the variety of situations. So metacognition is important because it shapes active rather than passive learners. It gives students a sense of control over learning, and it promotes deep learnings. And most importantly, it makes students aware of their own thinking. So there are three components of metacognition. The first one is metacognitive knowledge. The second one is metacognitive experience. And lastly, metacognitive strategies. So what is metacognitive knowledge? It is the knowledge of cognition in general, as well as awareness and knowledge of one's own cognition. Basically, it is thinking about your own thinking or thinking about your thinking. So combination of information about the three variables which include self, tasks, and strategies that will affect in achieving the tasks in the learning process. So metacognitive knowledge is a knowledge of person variables, which refers to general knowledge about how human beings learn and process information, as well as individual knowledge of one's own learning process. So it is also knowledge of task variables that includes the knowledge about the nature of the task, as well as the type of processing that it demands and that will place upon the individual. And it is also a knowledge about strategy variables, which include knowledge about both cognitive and metacognitive strategies, as well as conditional knowledge about when and where it is appropriate to use such strategies. So, for example, I know we will have a sample from Jennifer Livingston in her book Metacognition and Overview, published in 1997. So the example is thus or came like this, and I quote: "I know that I have a difficulty with word problems, so I will answer computational problems first and save the word for the last." So the first line, which is "I know that I" can be considered as the personal variable, and the word problems is the task variable. and her computational problems and the strategies which the person will be using is called the strategy variable. So the other one is the metacognitive experience. It is influenced by cognitive and motivational such as attractive factors, and its turn particularly it trigger control related ideas and attributions which may affect cognition and behavior both in the short and the long term run. So when you learn, for example, when you learn a new mathematical equation, you may recall the previous formulae and earlier experience in life to help you solve the task of learning a new mathematical equation. So in doing this, your internal responses or the ones that you were remembering is the metacognitive experience. It could be a frustration, it could be a happiness or satisfaction. Each of the internal responses can affect the task of learning new equation and determination to continue learning. So the other one is the metacognitive strategies. It refers to what the instructor teaches the learners to monitor their progress related to their learning and tasks on hand. So it is a way of controlling one's thinking, activities, and to ensure that he or she or the students are meeting the instructor's goals. So we have the 7 teaching strategies, which includes transfer, monitoring, help, relating ideas, make predictions, develop questions, and teachers learners study or learning strategies. So the first in this 7 teaching strategies is called monitoring. It is where the instruction should do his or her the instructor should monitor their learning and test his or her students learning or thinking. So the perfect example to apply this is to make a dyad wherein each dyad of make a dyad wherein within a dyad, so each learner will monitor his or her peers' learning and thinking behavior. So this also includes the teaching learners study or learning strategies, which includes the TQLR, the tune in, question, listen, and remember, and the PQ4R, which stands for preview, question, read, recite, review, and relate. So TQLR is a metacognitive strategy that is used before listening to a story or a presentation. So it stands for number 1, letter T, tune in. It is important for the learner himself to be aware that he is paying attention and that he or she is ready to learn. Next is question. The learner is given question or he or she thinks of question about what he or she will soon learn. And lastly, we also have listen, wherein the learners exert effort to listen. And we also have letter R, remember, wherein the learner uses the ways or strategies to remember what they have learned. So we also have PQ4R. So it is a study technique developed by Thomas E.L. and Robinson in 1972. The acronym stands for Preview, Question, Read, Reflect, Recite, and Review. And this strategy is used mainly to help students with difficulty in reading. So comprehension, retaining, and recalling information is a challenge for many students. And the PQ4R is aims that it makes easier reading easier. So PQ4R is a great technique by which active student learning can be promoted in the classroom. So the first one is preview. It is all about introducing the class to the topic. When used as a reading strategy, students are encouraged to skim through the titles, headings, visual representation. It also includes the skimming of first and last paragraph of the content to give them an idea of the content and the overall concept and purpose of the reading material. So similarly, before you start teaching, you should take a minute or 2 minutes maybe to introduce the topic. What is the topic about? What are we going to cover in this class? And are some questions that can help you prepare the basic outline necessary, or is these questions can be used to introduce the topic to the class? So teachers should present this in a creative manner to make the class more interesting for the students and to divert their attention to the crucial points of the topic, and also to allow them to mentally prepare for the class. So for example, the preview for a class about photosynthesis. So you can introduce this by presenting picture, diagrammatic representation, or a graphic presentation about about the photosynthesis process, and writing down the title itself, the factors of photosynthesis, or uh, putting a catchy or relatable question like how the plants feed, because we know photosynthesis is a process that simply implies how plants make their own food. So another one is questions. So encourage the class to formulate their own questions or queries on what has been presented in the preview. So this sort of questioning by the students assist the teachers to know the level of understanding and the expectation of the students on the topic, and it also enables them to make modification or changes to the class accordingly. So considering the example that is mentioned above about photosynthesis, so you can also raise question like what is the process of photosynthesis? So how does photosynthesis occur, or what is required for photosynthesis to occur? So the preview and questioning phase may occur simultaneously and serve as an icebreaker and make the class interactive, and also this is a good motivation for the class. One of the R's are called read, so it is reminding the students to read through the material thoroughly. So bearing in mind the question which they had previously formulated, this will guide their reading plan or reading strategy. So this way of active reading following a discussion or lecture of the process of learning, as the students are now able to form an association or connection between the material being read and the material being taught and questioned previously put forth by the class. So the practice assists the students to engage in inquiry-based and active learning instead of passively listening to a lecture. So we also have recite. So this is where the discussion actually happens, or this is where the facilitator of learning let the students explain the their topic. So for this one, they're discussing about the process of photosynthesis. So in this one, you can divide the class so that each group can make a quick oral presentation about the topic. You can also give them points that they have to present on so that the students can cover the entire lecture in the process. So this verbal presentation soon after reading and reflecting further strengthens the learning, and at the same time this supports the idea that students learn by themselves and teachers are the ones to facilitate it. So another one is the review. So at the end of the class, the students have to review the material that they have learned with what was presented at the beginning of the class. Did they cover the topics that must be covered or presented in the outline, and are all their queries answered? So this review helps them to recall various facts they have learned wherein this process will give reinforcement to their learning. So another teaching strategy is make predictions. So have your students make predictions regarding the information that will be presented to them, which should be based on the text that they have read in advance. So prediction is a guess using a text or a picture clues as to what is happening in the book. So it can happen before reading, during reading, and after the reading process. So relating ideas. So have your students or have your learners relate new information they have to their existing knowledge. So for example, you are a math teacher and you will be teaching how they will expand and factorize expression. So before introducing the topic, review the learners on how they would simplify expression. So once you have started your topic, it would be easier for your students to understand and make meaning of expanding and factorization, since there's schema is being applied to the new topic. Another teaching strategy is called transfer. It is to show your learners how to transfer their knowledge, attitudes, values, and skills to other situation and tasks. So basically, the transfer of learning is an important part of the learning process between the student and the facilitator of learning. Another one is to develop questions. So encourage learners to create intelligible questions regarding the topic that they can ask to you as an instructor, to their peers and to themselves. So we the most appropriate strategy for this is to call the KWL charts. Basically, these are graphic organizers. That help students to organize information before, during, and after the unit or lesson, so they can engage student in a new topic, so activate prior knowledge, share unit objectives, and monitor students' learning. So the first one is the letter K, which stands for what do you know about this topic. So students can do this individually or in small groups. Often, teachers create a master list of all students' responses. So one question that frequently emerges for the teachers is how to address the misconceptions students share. Sometimes it is appropriate or correct to or it is very important to correct the false information or wrong conception or misconception of the student at this point of process. So other times you might want to leave the misconception so that the students can correct them on their own as they learn the new material. So another one is TW, what do you want to know? So about this, so what is the students, or what are the things that the students want to know about the topic that you're discussing? So some students may not know where to begin if they don't have much background on the or knowledge on the topic. Therefore, it can be helpful to put up the sixth question of journalism on the students. So basically, this is who, what, where, when, why, or how. So students' responses and questions can be used to direct the course of the study, as students always want to share what they want to learn. And this step provides an opportunity for the facilitator of learnings or the teachers to present what they hope the students will learn in this unit. And lastly, we have what did you learn? It is basically the concludatory part. So some teachers have students add to their charts at at the end of each lesson, while others have students that add to their charts at the end of the week, or maybe at the end of the discussion or the unit. So as the student records what they have learned, they can review the question in the two columns for as their guide. So checking off any questions that they can now answer, the facts, because of the new knowledges that has been given to them. So they can also add new questions. So students should also review column 1, or the know part, what do the students want to know part, so they can identify any misconceptions they may have held before or beginning the discussion. So the learners must be able to self-monitor and require learners to show how they have attempted to deal with their own problems. So help is very much has a mutual importance to both the student and the facilitator of learning. So that ends our discussion. So before we left, we have a quote from George Lucas. So education is the single most important job of the human race. So basically, education makes other profession, and education inspires others to achieve their goals and aspirations in life. Thus, it creates, or it being a teacher or being a facilitator of learning serves as the most noble profession in the world. So these are the list of reference. So that ends our discussion. I'll see you again or in our next discussions.